Hey guys, and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to talk about my breast reduction story because I had a long journey trying to get this breast reduction. I've been trying to get it done for about a year, and I finally had it done. So here's my story. Yeah, whatever. So anyways, in March of 2014, I moved to Houston, Texas, and within the first week of me being there, I started noticing drastic changes in my breathing, where I would have a hard time sleeping at night. It was like so much weight on my chest that I couldn't breathe. It felt like someone was suffocating me, like someone had a pillow over my face trying to kill me. That's how bad it was. And so I went to a consultation with a surgeon, and 2 weeks after I had this consultation with him, I got a phone call from his secretary informing me that I was good to go to have the breast reduction. My insurance approved me, and that they were covering everything. So all we needed to do was schedule a date for me to have the surgery. So we scheduled April 16th for me to have the breast reduction, and April 9th I was supposed to go in for my pre-op. So a little less than a week away from the pre-op appointment, it was probably about 4 or 5 days away from me having the pre-op appointment, when I got the phone call from the secretary at the surgeon's office asking me, "Oh, did you know that you have a deductible to pay?" And I'm like, "No, I didn't." She's like, "Yeah, and it is to be paid on April 9th when you come in for your pre-op." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And I'm like, "Well, how much is it?" She's like, "Oh, okay, let me calculate." And this is also including our fees as well. So she gave me how much it was, and obviously with me just moving there, and I didn't have enough money to pay for the deductible. So I didn't have the surgery. Fast forward to September 21st, I finally had the money to pay for the deductible, and we scheduled Halloween for me to have the surgery. On the 17th, I was supposed to go in for a pre-op, and on October 30th, I was supposed to go in for the surgeon to do his markings. And at the pre-op appointment, basically what I did was I met with the surgeon. He reviewed how the surgery works, and after that, I had to go register with the hospital. So I got a mammogram, I got a urine test. I did a urine test, and I had got blood taken. And fast forward to October 30th, I went in to meet with the surgeon again for the preparation. He did the markings and stuff, and then he told me I had to go take another blood test because my white blood cell count was a little bit too high. It was at a 10.5, and it's supposed to be at a 10. So I went and took another blood test. Morning of the surgery, as I was literally backing out my driveway, I get a phone call from the surgeon informing me, "Bad news, I can't have the surgery because my white blood cell count is even higher. It is at a 12 this time." And usually with women, they will have a high white blood cell count due to a urinary tract infection, but I didn't have any infections, so I had to go see a primary care physician. So the first Friday in November, I met with the primary care physician, and he pretty much was pretty sure it was probably my norm or whatever. And so he tested me for diabetes and did the blood test. And on Monday, the results came in, and my white blood cell count was even higher. It was at a 14, and I didn't have diabetes, so he sent me to a hematologist. So that same Friday that Friday of that same week, I met with a hematologist for the first time. And pretty much since then, all the way up to December 3rd, I've been going back and forth to meet with a hematologist to get blood tests done, to get like all these other tests like ultrasounds and x-rays and all that stuff done. And December 12th, the hematologist told me it was okay for me to go ahead and have my surgery because my white blood cell count kept going up and down like repeatedly, and there was nothing wrong with me. And well, I think it was just because was really stressed because I was having a hard time getting time off from my job because they're like, "Oh, you haven't been working for the company a year yet." And so I started getting in trouble at work for like petty stuff. So I think it could be like that I was mostly stressed out. So then on December 12th, I called the surgeon office and I told the secretary that I had permission to go on with the surgery. And she said, okay, well, we need a letter from that doctor stating that it's okay. And she needed to check with the surgeon to see if there was any changes in my insurance and that they weren't seeing patients again until January 6th. So I'm like, okay. And so she told me she was going to call me back and let me know if there was any changes with my insurance. Waited about a week. She never called me back. And she said that basically the same thing, that they needed a letter from the hematologist. She needed to check with the surgeon to see if he resubmitted my insurance. She said that because in situations where a patient is supposed to have the surgery and they don't have it done, they have to resubmit the insurance just in case there's any changes to the insurance. Then she said, did I say that whole sentence right? Okay, just because I don't know if I said that sentence right, I'm going to say it again. She said that in situations where a patient is supposed to have the surgery and they don't have it, they have to resubmit the insurance just in case there's any changes there. Then she told me that I would have to pay another deductible because deductibles are done yearly. And she also said that they were in the middle of moving offices and that they don't have she don't have the new fax number, so she was gonna call me the next day with the fax number. Well, next day came, she never called me. So I gave it to her after Christmas, and I called my insurance company first, and I asked them, like, was there a way that we could waive me paying the deductible, because I was legit just paid it and was supposed to have the surgery on Halloween. And so on their end, it didn't say that I paid a deductible. So they told me to tell them, like, look, you guys have your money. I paid you X, Y, and Z amount of money. I did not switch surgeons. I did not get no type of operations. Therefore, you are to reimburse me the money that I paid you, and I'll give it back to you for 2015. And so that's what I did. I called the surgeon's office, told the secretary that, and she said, okay, well, we would discuss that when they hear back from my insurance company. And she also said that she didn't have the fax number. She was going to call me within a day or two with the fax number. So she never did. And on January 6th, I had called them, and finally I got the fax number. The hematologist faxed another letter to them, and that's when it became like a waiting game. I started calling like every week or two to check on the status of a breast reduction, and every time I called, they kept saying, we're waiting to hear back from your insurance. We're waiting to hear back from your insurance. And when February hit, like, I had called my insurance company first, and they said that they didn't have any pre-qualifications from that surgeon about breast reduction. And she also was like, when was the first time you was approved? And I was like, back in March 2014. And she was like, okay, what's the surgeon's name? And I told her, and his name didn't even pop up like at all in like their system in regards to me having a breast reduction. So I'm like, seriously? And I called the surgeon's office back, and I told the secretary, and she was like, let me go check with the surgeon. So she came back to the phone and said, we're waiting to hear back from your insurance. And I'm like, they didn't get anything from you guys. And she was like, oh, well, I don't know, like maybe they lost it, or I don't know if the doctor had melted or what, but I will get another one sent out sent out for you, and that should only take about a couple days or so. And I am so sorry because I know that this is becoming frustrating. And I'm like, yeah. So I gave them 2 more weeks, and when I called the surgeon's office again, she said that the surgeon wasn't in the office and he wasn't going to be in the office until 2 o'clock. And she would call me back and let me know if they heard anything back. So she never called me back. So 4 o'clock came, and I was getting ready to call back again, and my mom ended up calling. And she told the girl, she was like, I don't want to talk to you. she said, you better not come to the phone and tell me anything what the doctor said. And so my mom ended up speaking to the surgeon directly, and he said that he sees that I'm getting ready to meet my physical year. He explains that the reason it's taking so long to hear back from my insurance company is because they've been waiting on me to get my stuff faxed over, and also they hadn't heard from me since December. So basically my mom called him a liar, and basically what the surgeon was doing was because when you meet your, well, at least with this surgeon, like the refund policy right there, and I've been dealing with him. I was actually about a week 2 weeks away from being, it's like a week or two from being away from March, and I would officially been like dealing with him. And because of refund policies and stuff like that, he wouldn't have been able to give me back that money. So he was just holding the money that I had already paid and was stalling as long as he could, because then March comes and I would have to sign up as like a whole new patient all over again, and he wouldn't have been able to reimburse me that money that I paid. So that meant I would have to pay again. So I decided to take my money back from him and go see another surgeon, because obviously you sat there and you lied on me. So I don't trust you giving me the surgery. So I went and I got a new surgeon. It took about a month to hear about my insurance. The thing is that, because it said on the surgeon's end, this new surgeon's end, that it was pending. They were waiting on an approval. And so when I asked them, like I called my insurance company first, and they said that it's up to the surgeon whether or not I was approved. So when I called the surgeon's office, I had told them like they don't have nothing about a breast reduction, because that's what that lady said. And she was like, okay, let me see what's going on. So then she called the billing department, and she called me back and said my insurance company does not do approvals. It's up to like the surgeon if he feels like I really need to have the surgery done. The thing that they're trying to get done is to see whether or not my insurance was going to pay for it. So the billing department was going to call me to let me know. So the billing department never called me, and but the secretary at the surgeon office did, and she told me that they heard back and that my insurance company was going to pay for the surgery. And so we set up a day for June 4th for me to have the breast reduction, and May 26th I was supposed to go in for my pre-op, and I had to go see like a primary care physician or something to make sure my blood work is still good. So the primary care physician that I had, who was aware of like my blood work and what was going on with me, like in regards to my white blood cell count, he was no longer there. So I had to meet with a new doctor, and you know, I felt like I was getting ready to, we was about to go through this whole thing again, because my white blood cell count was elevated, and then my blood sugar ended up being elevated as well, and my blood pressure. And excuse me. And my blood, and they said I was obese as well. And I told them, like, after they posted the results and stuff, I'm like, look, I obviously need to have the surgery. Everything all leads back to me having needing the surgery. Me gaining weight because I can't breathe. It hurts when I exercise, and it's just too much while I'm exercising. So there's a lack of that. I'm like, blood pressure, pretty sure that has something to do with me as well, you know, not having the surgery. Blood sugar, one, I had drunk some pop before I before I had the blood test, so it could be just that. And your blood sugar could get elevated and stuff as well when you don't work out. So like everything just goes back to me having the surgery, and then I would officially go back to normal, because I've never had an issue with having a high white blood cell count or any issues with my blood before. And so they had needed a letter from that hematologist in regards to what was going on. So I had them do that, and then she just went ahead and gave me the okay to go ahead and have the surgery. And so I had the surgery on June 4th, and about doggone time I had this doggone surgery. When I went in for the surgery was scheduled to take place at 10 o'clock, and I went in to register at 8:15, and they put me in this bed and put this like blanket over me so my veins could pop out, so that way they could put the IV in. The surgeon came in, did his markings. The anesthesia doctor came in and talked to me. He asked me if I had any questions. I said, am I going to go to sleep? And the nurse had told him that, because I had told her that I had just seen that movie Awake with Hayden Christensen and Jessica Alba, and he said that don't happen, it happens, but the numbers of that is so low. And usually people who remember waking up or remember parts of the surgery are people who have really, really, really high blood pressure. My blood pressure was just like a tad bit high, so it wasn't like drastic or anything like really serious. So yeah. What else? Then they took me to the room where I was gonna have the surgery in, and the guy told me, he was like, okay, get ready to insert the margaritas to the IV. And I looked at him, and that was the last thing I remember seeing. And when I woke up, I actually kept waking up a couple times, and my eyes were blurry, and I like went back to sleep. And they kept saying like, Raven, wake up, Raven, wake up. And they took me from the recovery room and was taking me into the room that I was going to be staying the night in. And they kept saying like, Raven, wake up. Like my eyes was open, but it was like still so blurry and I couldn't see, and I just fell back to sleep. And I didn't wake up until about like 5 o'clock. And yeah, then from that point on, I just stayed the rest of the night in the hospital. I didn't really have any pain. I don't know if it's because of the drugs or whatever. I didn't have that many drugs, like the painkillers and stuff. I didn't like. They would ask me like, on a scale of 1 to 10, what's your pain? 1 or 0, none at all. Okay, well, we're supposed to give you 2 painkillers, but it's really up to you. How many do you think you need? I was like, just give me 1. And that was it, because I was like not in any pain at all. The only time that I felt like pain or anything was when I would sit up or when I went to the bathroom, and that was it. I went home the next day, and I had the drains inside of me, and the drains were really, really uncomfortable. And when you washing up or you're taking a shower and stuff like that, and you washing your bra, the drains hanging down, that hurts because it's like pulling. You could see my boobs now. They still kind of look, well, they don't look as big as they were, but I am still swollen, and there are parts of it that still like hurts. I had the drains removed on Friday. And now it's just my breast needs to form its shape, and I can finally go ahead. Well, actually, you're not supposed to go work out immediately, but I'm just changing my eating habits, because now I don't even eat that much, but I'm going on this diet where I'm just eating like plants or whatever, the plant diet, with red meal. And now I could finally lose the weight. Everybody says, like, because the majority of my weight was in my breast, and it was so much, and everyone that said like, oh yeah, that weight is just gonna fall off like once you have the surgery. And it's not like I'm like really, really that bad overweight. It's just like I have a belly that just needs to go. But I think it's gonna be easy to lose the weight, because like I could get up and do stuff now, but no serious workouts or anything like that. But yeah, so honestly, it feels so good to finally have this breast reduction. I'm sorry for the video being so long. I will make some more videos maybe about breast reductions or something like that, or my experience having big breasts. But yeah, that's it for today. If you like this video, thumbs up the video. If you didn't, thumbs down. Well, please don't thumbs down, but anyways, thumbs up the video if you like it, and subscribe to my channel, and I'll talk to you all soon. Bye.